What up, team? It is MurderInc here, and today we're talking about a few sensitive things. This is more directed towards Plarium, but the players should in fact know this as well. So, as everybody knows, one of the biggest issues in Raid from the player's point of view is going to be time spent. This game takes a ton of time. There's a lot of cool content to do. However, players are feeling overwhelmed. They have to do X, Y, Z every single day. I really wish it was just X, Y, Z. So I'm going to give a solution how to fix it based on an analytical point of view. I understand there's other takes on free to play and how to make it better by doing this, by doing that. In the end, it makes the company bankrupt, so those ideas are kind of pointless. No offense to the people who came up with them, but from a more analytical point of view and from the information I can share with you without getting into too much trouble, probably, we'll just call it too much trouble. So, with that being said, the main issue, as we all know, is player retention. They need to get players to the end game, which, if you haven't figured out already, is the main goal of the brand new Altar of Souls Awakening system. What this does is it gives free-to-play players, pay-to-win players, doesn't matter who you are, all players, a power boost. Through using the wishlist system, whatever you want to call it, it's another dungeon that you can farm that increases the power of your champions that gets you to those levels. First thing we're going to talk about is the Doom Tower. This is one of their metrics that they want to hit. Now, let me know if this shocks you. It definitely shocked me when I heard it. There are only thousands of players, and I'm going to explain thousands in just a moment, that have cleared the rotations of the hard Doom Tower. Is that surprising to you? That was surprising to me. When I say thousands, I'm not saying tens of thousands. I'm not saying hundreds of thousands, I am saying thousands. Now, this may seem like a big number to you, but it's very close to the hundreds level, which is almost hard to believe. So we're talking about the early thousands. Why is this such an issue? Let's head over to Sensor Tower, where I've used this in the past. I mean, look, they're making money. This is for Google Play only. This does not include the Apple App Store. This does not include Plarium Play. 576,000 downloads last month. Just think about that. Yet they have 4 digits of players worldwide that have cleared the rotations of the hard Doom Tower. The numbers for the Hydra are similar, but it's still severely lacking their target. So what can they do about this? They're obviously making the money, they're doing well, but they could be doing so much better, and they know they can be doing so much better. So what are they going to do about it? Great question. Now, obviously, they have people that they pay to do this professionally. Who am I, right? How could I know something that they don't know? I have a decent background in business, especially at an executive level. I understand analytics, I understand marketing. Plarium, listen, this is what you have to do. The first thing you have to do that should have been done so long ago is get rid of, beat a campaign boss 3 times. This may seem like the smallest thing if you're watching this right now, but if you're a player, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Who in their right mind is farming a campaign boss on purpose outside of clearing normal, hard, brutal nightmare for the first time? Show of hands. That's exactly what I thought. What this does is it removes daily energy from your players in an area of the game that offers them no benefit whatsoever outside of completing this daily quest here. The second thing, purchase an item at the market. This may seem fine. You can buy a green shard from the market, easy, no problem. Update your market. Update your market. It's out of date. Everyone knows it. It's been out of date forever. Just do it. So those are 2 really quick changes that will give free-to-play players more energy per day. It may not seem a lot, but it does add up because you're adding something new to the game with the Altar of Souls that costs energy. So how are they going to balance this out? You have to consider that. Maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe we are getting an additional source of energy that they haven't told us about yet. It would be very unwise if they're not doing that, because it would just show an even further disconnect from the player base and the company. So hopefully they're smart enough to add something else to this game that does award energy. We do get a lot of energy. We get that daily pack that has energy. The Doom Tower, of course, gives energy as well, which is why they do want players going after it, but it's simply not enough to get players excited. The second thing is going to be The first and the major point of this video, you have to cut time from this game. You cannot keep adding attractive content for the end game as an end game goal. It's definitely not end game content as far as that new dungeon goes. It's going to get farmed in 30 seconds, I predict. However, if you want to have attractive content, you have to understand you're adding more time to the game. So what can you do without breaking the coding of the game? The first thing you can do, have and add a prestige system to this game. What does that mean? After you have farmed any stage, you can even make it just stage 25, but after you farm any stage of a dungeon, let's say 200 times, you unlock a prestige for the dungeon. What does that do? It gets rid of all the trash in that dungeon and puts you straight to the boss. That's going to save tons of players lots of time when farming dungeons. You don't want to add 3 times speed. You don't want to add instant battles. That is fine. Add something that's realistic without adding anything to the game. It's just taking something away from the game. If you're end game and you're speed farming, you're going to say, Murder, what's that going to save me? 3 to 4 seconds? Stop. I'm not talking about you. If you're end game, it is what it is. Unfortunately, you're sidelined in this game. It's just the way the metrics go, the analytics go. They do not point to end game value in this game at the moment. That may change for the arena, but the ridiculous assumption that the whales of this game are the ones that are propping this game up, you're wrong. It's the players that are spending $10, $25, and $50. Multiply that by 100,000 players. That's where the money is, not the guy who spends $10,000. As good as that may sound, and you would think, as far as an ego goes, I deserve to be represented in this game. There are very few gacha games that reward that type of player in games like this. It's to kind of bait those players, and it's an added bonus to their income. So with that being said, that's the first thing I would propose for dungeons, whether it's Dragon, Fire Knight. Of course, Spider, you can't do that, but Spider is already the quickest run. Just consider 8-second, 9-second Spider runs and apply that to every single dungeon. That's time saving for sure. This would apply to Minotaur's Labyrinth, Force Keep, Magic Keep, all of these keeps here. A prestige system where once you've done a stage a certain amount of times, 200, 250, reward the players. Give them a reason to say, I'm going to keep grinding this, and because I'm grinding this, I get rewarded. Maybe I'll spend more money on energy because it's quicker. I'm burning through it quicker. You have to think about these things, and I'm sure you guys are. The next thing, Faction Wars, they already did a good job. They added super raids to Faction Wars, way overdue. The second thing is Tag Team Arena. Absolute dumpster fire. Lower the tokens to 5, give us double the rewards. Cut down 5 battles every single day and just give us double the points, double the rewards. Nobody likes this system. It's not beneficial. The bazaar's nice. Yes, there are good rewards here. Drexstar is pivotal for most players in this game. He will carry you through lots of content, but nobody wants to sit through and do Tag Team Arena because it's just not an entertaining system. The PvP in this game is very lacking. It's much better on a 4 versus 4 level, meaning 4 champions versus 4 champions. Adding 2 more team sets of champions is not doing anyone any justice. I'm sure you guys know this based on your analytical numbers, so it is what it is. Reduce this to 5, you save people time. The next thing, and one of the more important things, is going to be, we're not going to talk about Hydra because the goal is to get players to Hydra. They've already nerfed it to the ground, so it's way easier than it was. It's still going to be challenging for players, and it should be. It shouldn't be a walk in the park. But the Demon Lord, this is now old content. Hate to say it. I know this is a aspect of the game that's very popular. Lots of players love this, the customization of it. It's a very well designed boss. But for the players who have been playing for a long time, and anybody slowly getting to that level, it loses its flavor and value very quick. So, Plarium, what can you do about this? I'm just gonna start this key right here. What you can do is the same prestige system. Once you've beaten a certain difficulty 200 times, 250 times, enable the button on the right of the screen that says double difficulty. What is that going to do? It's going to scale up all of the clan boss's stats and the damage scaling by 2. What else is it going to do? It's going to reduce the amount of damage you need for the top chest in half. Of course, these are rough estimate numbers. They can figure out whatever they want to, but this is going to cut your time down literally in half. So if you're doing 14 minutes a key, now you're doing 7 minutes a key. And that is a huge time saver. Is this going to change the viability of comps? A little bit. If you know this, some champions and clan boss teams have a few unprotected rounds at the start until they start getting their, I don't know, groove going with buffs and getting into a speed tune per se. So that's going to change a few things. You can't just build glass cannons anymore. They would get one shot if you do double the damage output of the Demon Lord, but disable unkillable starting at 25 turns. All of that good stuff. It's something that I've thought about for a while. I've never said it because I said, surely we're going to get 3 times speed or we're going to get instant battles. They've clearly said they're never going that direction. Now, they've said that before and they've gone back on their words, so I'm not going to count it out completely, but Plarium, consider the prestige system. It makes sense. It wouldn't be too hard to implement because you're not changing anything pivotal in the game. You're building on existing systems here and things that players are already comfortable with. If you change it too much to try and save time, players are going to have to reinvest into their champions, into their builds to change their teams. It shouldn't be like that. You want to save players time. You want to get them doing other activities each day. This is something that I think Plarium struggles with as far as understanding. When we say we want to save time, it's not to stop playing the game. It's so we can get everything we want to get done in this game in a reasonable time frame. So if it's taking us, let's say, 30 minutes a day for all of our clan boss keys, if we can spend 15 minutes a day on that instead, and spend the other 15 minutes in something we actually enjoy doing that isn't mindless farming or something that's AFK where I hit go and I walk away from my phone, computer, whatever it is, that's the key. Keep players engaged on your game. Get rid of this AFK mentality because it's just wasting our time despite what it's showing you on the analytics. You might say, okay, player time is up. We have tons of content. Players are doing these things. They're not. They're not even at their computer or their screen. They're literally hitting auto and they're walking away to the store to get food. Whatever they're doing, they're not playing the game despite it showing them, because this is such a turn your brain off feature at this point where it's just becoming dull and this causes burnout. You need to get players engaged, having them do content they want to do, improving. This will get them to Hydra faster, this will get them to the Doom Tower faster, and it gives them more time to think about what they want to do in this game for fun, because that's the goal. If players are having fun, they will continue playing this game. So as you can see, I'm at 21 million damage here, and I'm getting close to 4 minutes now. I'm halfway done with the key. I would love to say, okay, this is my key. Easy game set match here. Unkillable's gonna wipe me at 25 turns. Of course, I'm gonna hit the number by 25 turns, and I would have already saved so much time here. So these things add up. As small as the numbers may sound minute-wise, not everyone has a team like this. Some of their teams take significantly longer, especially if they're playing on the phone. That's a lot slower than the computer. Now, I have a list of other changes that you can make, but I'm just gonna go with that for now. This is something that player you really have to consider going forward here on what the smart way is to save time if you're not going to add a ×3 speed and if you're not going to add instant battles. The goal is pretty clear. You want players in the Hydra because there's no point in releasing a champion after Mithrala if there's only 900 players that can get the next champion. Who's that good for? If players aren't excited enough to grind for Mithrala, which I'm pretty sure they are, they just don't have time to, a champion after that isn't going to help. Like I said, unfortunately, endgame players get the short end of the stick in games like this, not just Raid specifically, and where they're not going to invest in it if there's not a big enough draw and player base to kind of put content out for. So with that being said, that's pretty much the entire basis of this video here. If you're a player, give me your feedback on what I just said. I'm sure you guys have awesome ideas as well. Feel free to drop it into the comment section and the right eyes will be looking at it and hopefully taking into account everything we're talking about here in Plarium. Listen, I know we've talked in the past about things. We did the interview. I mentioned champion skins. We talked about it a little bit off the recording, and in the interview, champion skins were never coming to Raid. But there was a clear monetary advantage to it, and what do you know? 5-6 months later after that interview, skins are now in the game. They're purchasable. So one example of an idea that was kind of pitched was never on the table, was brought to the table, and it was implemented into the game. I'm not saying I invented the idea. Many players said skins are going to be a good idea. I'm sure their marketing department saw that, did some calculations, and said, yeah, this is going to sell. The aesthetics are definitely one of the main points of this game. So videos like this need to be made, not videos that make no sense to the company. At this point, I can pretty confidently say Plarium sees half the other videos about feedback of their game and they just shrug it off. Because for one, it doesn't make them money, and if they're not going to make money, they're going to laugh at you. Imagine telling a company, if this is your business, saying, it would be really nice if you guys made less money to make my experience better. That may sound good in a fantasy world, but this is the real world here, so you have to pick a solution that makes them money and makes our lives easier and more fun while playing the game. That's just the logical approach to this. So that's going to conclude this video here. It is what it is. Those examples are really easy ways to implement into this game. Now that things have settled down for the most part for the company as far as their global events going on here, and like I said, there are plenty of other options that can be added as well to this. The Great Hall takes a lot of time. It's a very large stat boost. This is something else that can be cut in time to give players an additional boost in power on top of this new Altar of Souls thing. So that's going to conclude this video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn the notification bell, and I will see you all in my next upload.